Hello and welcome. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do Baby Molly's hair using our brushable mohair. We've got the brushable mohair in lots of different colours. All these shades are on our website and they're all sold in 20-metre packs. If you buy the complete sewing kit for Baby Molly, you get your little ball of 20 metres at the ready for you. Okay, so she is just such a little sweetie. So without further ado, I will show you how to crochet the chain and style her hair. So we're crocheting a chain. Now it's slightly different way of crocheting in as much that you need to get the fibres of the mohair all laying in one direction. So when you crochet, you can see all these little fibres on here, all these lovely little wispy bits. What you need to do is you need to get them all going in one direction. So what I mean by that is with your finger and thumb, just push those little fibres downwards as you're working. So I've got my crochet hook in, so I take a loop through and then I pull the fibres down, so another loop. So basically every time before I do a loop, I just make sure that all my fibres are going in the same direction, and in my case all my fibres are going down, so I'm only just actually hooking in to the cord of the crochet rather than hooking in through the fibres. So pull down and hook through. Take your time at it, because the longer you spend doing it, the better the effect on her hair will be. So yeah, so all the fibres are all going downwards as I hook in. And you're going to crochet the whole ball that you've got, which is 20 metres. So you're going to crochet that 20-metre chain, and then after you've done that, exactly the same as what's shown in the pattern book, you are going to sew it on around the head in a spiral. Just working round and round, but keeping all the fibres prominent. So you're just going to actually sew through the chain without hooking in any of the fibres. Again, it takes a little while to do, but it's well worth spending a little bit of time on this. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm sewing the chain on. I'm using a back stitch, and I've chosen a thread colour which matches the colour of the brushable mohair. And as you do each stitch, so all my fibres are facing downwards, and I'm only sewing through the chain, not hooking up any of the fibres as I go. Again, a slow process, well worth taking your time with. So lots of tiny little back stitches, checking each area as you do it, making sure that your fibres aren't hooked up underneath. So we're just going to work all our way around to finish her little head here. She looks like a monk at the moment. I added some more thread because I couldn't fasten off with that silly little bit there, so I've cut my end off and I'm just taking it over, and I'm just going to do a few stitches looping over the end of that chain, backwards and forwards, just to fasten that off. So so that won't go anywhere. Cut that off. Just do another couple of stitches so I know that it's not going to go anywhere. Lovely. Cut my end. Okay, so now she has all her lovely brushable mohair all sewn on, crocheted and sewn on all the way around. So now we're going to brush that out. So I'm using a pinhead brush. You can get these anywhere in chemists. They've just got a tiny little pin, little knobbly bit on the end of the brush. So that's what you need to brush her out. So just start gently brushing her hair all the way around, and the more you brush, the longer those little fibres will get. So do a little bit, pull that forward, go on to the next little bit behind. It's very therapeutic doing this. Bring it forward and continue behind. And go back the other way now. Okay, yeah, so she's all brushed out. So it's basically onto the styling. Now you can just leave it like that. It's entirely up to you. There's different ways that you can style her hair. You know, sky's the limit really. Do whatever you like. But what I like to do is I just like to snip away at the very ends of the mohair, just to take off that really, really wispy portion at the end. So just flick it all up and give her a bad hair day. Oh, scary child. And then just take your scissors. I always use hairdresser scissors because they're so sharp, and I'm just basically going to snip all those fluffy edges. All the way around. You don't have to do this, this is just my preference. I always use hairdressing scissors when I cut Polly and Ollie's hair. I just find they're so much nicer to use as opposed to craft scissors. So yeah, do bear that in mind if you can get any hairdressing scissors. They do work wonders. Right, okay, so I've sort of snipped off all the real fluffy ends. Let's get rid of that. Put that there. What you can also do, which I'm not going to show you today, which I did do for my Baby Molly, which I will bring out in a minute, I used water and vinegar spray, half and half, white vinegar, not brown vinegar, not the stuff you put on your chips. So half and half spray, white vinegar and water, and sprayed her, scrunched her up, left her to dry for a couple of hours, went back in vinegar and water again, scrunched it up and leave her to dry. And then for the third time I added some just normal hair mousse and I put that in and I scrunched it up and again just left her to dry. So I'll bring her in a minute and you can have a look. Bless her, what a little sweetie. Okay, so we're just going to put some blusher on her. When you put the blusher on, it really does bring your doll to life. They kind of look a sort of bit bland without the blusher. So what I use is just a cosmetic blusher. I think this is Rimmel. It's really old, I've had it a long time. This one's called, it's a pure blush and it's called, the colour is Pure Rose. So I really like this colour. I've always used this colour on my girls and boys. Ollie's got it on as well. So yeah, a nice pale pink. And the brush that I'm using is just a normal makeup brush that you can get from the chemist. And always have a tissue to hand to dab it off on the tissue before you put it on the face. So let's give her a little bit of a rosy complexion. So into the blush and dab off. And sometimes I find that just twice is more than enough. A little bit of fluff there. And then without putting any more blush on the brush, I just put some on the top of her forehead and a little bit on the bottom of her chin. And this just gives her an overall rosy glow complexion. Of course, you can do knees and elbows if you wish. That's always another nice little touch to do. Again, very sparingly. I most certainly don't recommend the wax crayons that you can use, because if you put it on you can't get it off and it does go on very fiercely. So I always use powder blush for all my dollies. Right, let's get this little girl dressed because she needs some clothes. Oh, so she's wearing the usual, she's going to wear the usual Molly outfit. So she's got the nappy on. So we're going to pop her little panties on, her little nappy pants. Now don't forget, when you're making Molly, to get those legs to bend over, crook over like that and be bent in that angle like a baby would be, you need to make sure that you follow the instructions and you look at the positioning of the back seam. Okay, that back seam there attached to the body is over towards the centre. You don't want that back seam central at the back of the leg, otherwise her legs won't crook. So do take note of that section of the pattern book in the pattern to explain how to close that gap of the top of the legs to make sure that it's not, that seam isn't centralised, it's over towards the middle of the leg. Okay, so there's her little panties. Now we're going to put on our little dress. So in go her arms. This is a gorgeous fabric. This is a Liberty print. I do like to work with Liberty prints. And then I've just got two clear snap fasteners at the back, which I'll secure. So I leave the back section open of Baby Molly's dress. It's just much easier to get it on and off. Mind you can do that for Polly as well. You know, it's entirely up to you. Okay, so now on to styling her hair. So I've applied one layer of mousse just to calm down that frizziness, and it's sort of semi-dried, so I'm just going to apply another layer of mousse. So just take your standard mousse, doesn't have to be anything in particular. And then all you're doing is just taking the mousse on your fingers and just rubbing it in all the way around. So just give it a good old rub. Make sure you get those side bits. And then basically when you've got all the mousse in, just really scrunch it through her hair. Just like you would if you were putting mousse on your own hair, no different. Rub it all in. And then you're just going to, just wipe my hands on the towel. Then you're just going to tweak all the ends, make sure it's all covered. Right at the base of the neck there as well. And then once you feel that it's all covered, you can then just sort of start pulling it out and styling it to however you like. So I like a bit of a fringy bit coming down here. So don't forget, newborn baby's hair is always pretty all over the place. Quite difficult to style newborn baby's hair, so do bear that in mind. It hasn't got to be perfect. It's got to look a bit messy. So yeah, just add more mousse if you need it. I'm just going to put a little bit more on that front bit there. Bring that down. So yeah, you can play around with it for ages. So style away to your heart's content and then leave that to dry. And then once it has dried, you're just going to tweak it out to get some more of the crispiness of the mousse off. So that's basically how you style Molly's hair. So here she is now. Her hair's had time to dry out, so all the mousse is nice and dry. And you just take your fingers and you just scrunch it through, and that just takes off the crispiness of the mousse. So remember, when you've put your mousse on, to sort of set it and tweak it out as to how you want it to set, because the mousse will, you know, has got a setting agent in it, so it will set to the desired style that you want. But yeah, I think she's well cute. So on this Molly, I did use vinegar, a vinegar spray, followed by 1 round of mousse on her head, and again she was scrunched out as well. So I think it just gives them this nice sort of baby look to them, because baby's hair does tend to be a little bit wild and fly away, not like Polly's hair or Ollie's hair. It's got this this wild, unkempt look. So yes, so thank you my lovelies for watching. I hope this has inspired you to create one of these lovely little Molly Dollies. They're a great accompaniment, whatever that word is, to Polly and Ollie. A lovely little baby sister for them. So yeah, so until next time, I'll see you all again soon. Bye!